Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How you doing? Russ here from Porky's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. Right, I'm not falling for all this. Big Meech is in a dark place. He's in some dark hole with no electricity, no light, and all this, and he's looking to get an extra 1% on the situation he's in. Blah blah blah. Listen, right, when that lot, right, were riding high for them years, right? What about 5 years or something? Riding high. Right. They didn't give a damn about anybody in the sport of boxing. They trampled over everybody while declaring that Big Meech is going to be better than Ali and bigger than Ali. Their words. They kept mocking him up in Ali outfits from 60s and Ali poses. They even had him underwater, didn't they? Doing that thing Ali did underwater. Listen, they got found out. The Saudis are not interested in him now, are they? They got found out as frauds. That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. And if you want to scratch even further, I mean, I shouldn't really be saying this, but Tyson Fury has never been in trouble with police in his life, has he? Right? What about this one here? Convicted drug dealer. Hey, convicted. Think, you know what I mean? Give somebody a good hiding. He's had a couple of weeks in Reading, Nick. Hardly Papillon, is he? Now he's gone to this dark place to get his head right because he's probably down to his last 200 million and he just wants to be back on top. Well, listen, how can he get back in mix? He can't get back in the mix. Hasn't the penny dropped with this thicko from Watford yet? This thick lunatic from Watford, Hertfordshire. Do you know why? He signed a lifetime deal with Eddie Hills, the CEO of Matchroom, the 6-0 Iceman from Billericay, 4 of them by way of. The only footage we've got is him knocking Spotty Frank Eubank about. But he's admitted to knocking Old Man out and a few others as well. He is an Iceman. We just haven't got any footage of him dropping anybody. He's the Walter Mitty on Billericay. Hey, boom, boom. Right, Joshua, you're not going anywhere. You're stuck with Eddie Hills and there's no room at the inn for him. There's no room. Best you can hope for is a WBA regular. Now that Miller and Char are not going to fight for it. Not that they were going to anyway. It were only them saying they were. Hey? Joshua could get a regular, couldn't he? Against Caballel. He could get in through cat flap, couldn't he? Into mix. But there's still no room for him at the end. Fury doesn't even talk about him now, and I'm not surprised really, because like I said, let's have it right. Manufactured guy. They got listen. As soon as Fury won his belts off Vlad, the wheels were already in motion to strip him. It's unbelievable what went on. Now look at them all with begging balls out. Saudis don't want to work with Eddie Hills. Do they really? They don't want to work with him all. Big Meech. Hey, they don't want to work with them. You know, he overachieved. Be happy with your 200 mil and disappear. You can't fight for toffee. No matter what you do, no matter what trainer you have. I mean, he's on his 7th trainer. Is it everybody else's fault or is it his? If you arrive to the party, right, at 19 years old, you're a bit late putting gloves on, aren't you? You know, you're about 9 years too late. You can't make that time up. The fundamentals, they call it. That's all it is, then fundamentals, you know, where you can just take an extra step, you know, like about 2 or 3 inch. Just move a little 2 or 3 inch and punch will just whiz by your head. Joshua can't do that, can he? He's got to block him and go into full-on block mode or moving his head and feet, you know, feet or sometimes yards. Whereas you look at Zhang against Joyce, they're just on the fly, don't they? Fury does as well. Do you know what I mean? Usyk does. They know where they are at all times. They judge timing perfectly. Kell Brook, have you ever seen how he does it? Mesmerizing timing and that. You don't have to Kell Brook. You don't see Kell Brook jumping about all over the place with his footwork, do you? Hey, like Terry Harper going backwards and then fainting and this and that when she's not even in range. It's like she's practicing, isn't it? She don't know what they're doing. Keep your shape, Terry. Keep your shape. Well, there's none of that with these boys, but you say Joshua's a little bit like Terry Harper, wouldn't you? Keep your shape, Anthony. Keep your shape. Maybe Anthony should go to Ray Doyle. Let Ray Doyle from Romarsh train him in Rotherham. What do you reckon, Ray? Could you train Big Meech? Eh? Like you train Terry Harper? Because Big Meech could could do with learning how to go in reverse for a bit, couldn't he? Unless Big Meech gets Johnny Horsecock Nelson to train him, because that man can go in reverse, can he? That man can just wheel spin away in reverse. Johnny Nelson's the only man I know that throws a jab going backwards. Johnny, they call it reaching in the game, you know. Right. So Big Meech is in this dark, dark place, isn't he, at the moment? We're all supposed to feel sorry for him, aren't we? Personally, I don't believe a word of it. I don't believe a word of that. That somebody's going to do that to themselves with all their millions at bank. It's just PR. They're just looking for angles. They're just hoping for landscape to change. But they're going to need a lot more than that, aren't they? Because, you know, when you're on your way up to the top, you need to be nice to people. Because, you know, when you're on your way down, people are not so nice to you, are they? Hey? We all remember what Joshua's been going on in the last couple of years, don't we? How he's behaved in that, especially since Ruiz flogged him. Do you know what I mean? Catches up on you, doesn't it? But you can have a fate, or you can't. Obviously, he can fate, but he's not elite, is he? He's like a very good punching, good, strong Euro level guy, like a Gary Mason type. But then again, I think Gary Mason would have probably turned him on his head. I really do, honestly. I think boxing's about timing. I think Daniel Dubois, goes through Joshua like a hot knife through batter. That's what I think Dubois does to him. I think he lights him up. I think Daniel Dubois puts him on button moon. I think that Moses had told me. I think he takes him apart over 6 rounds, and he'll probably just have to stay out of the way for the next 6 because he's not experienced enough yet. But he's one for the future. But I just think that Joshua's very much on the slide. I think David Adelaide ices him. I think Fabio Wardley ices him. That's how much I rate Joshua at the moment. And that's not having a go at him. He's done well for the sport, but let's have it right. They've been found out, just like Christopher Livingston Eubank were found out all them years ago. Do you remember him? You remember Christopher Livingston Eubank, don't we? Hey, 25. Were it 25 world title fights or 24? 24 WBO title fights. I think he won 19, and of them 19, 4 of them were world champions. Nigel Benn were one, Rocciano other, and there's a couple of others, isn't there? 4, right? That's it. Chris Eubank beat 4. It's not a lot, is it, for the hype around him? Do you know what I mean? It is what it is, isn't it? Clinton Woods beat 4. Robin Reed beat 4. So on that level, but he gets a lot of hype, doesn't he, Chris Eubank? But if he only beat 4 out of them 19 WBO wins, what I want to know is this: who were the other 15? Because they weren't world champions or former champions or guys that went on to be champion. Well, so who were the other 15? There were no box rack then. I'll tell you who the other 15 were. They were stiffs, big stiffs like these ones Joshua's fought. You know, your Eric Molinas, your Dominic Brazils, your Pulefs. You know, your people like that, your Robert Eleniuses, your Franklins. They were the sort of guys that Chris Eubank Sr. were fighting. And it's all come home to roost, hasn't it, for Anthony Joshua? And I think it's his own fault, me. You know, and now he's signed that lifetime deal. He ain't going anywhere. Even when he retires, any media work he'll be doing, it'll be through Matchroom lot. He'll have to pay them to get away from them. And that's what they'll do now. They'll try and get him in a situation where he's got to get rid of Earn, and then they're going to be battling in court, and then he's going to cross the street because the heavyweight division at the moment, it's parked up. Bricktop has got it on lockdown. He is like the governor of HMP Moorlands. And in there, you just deal with basic regime, standard, and enhanced. If you want to go in there and start shouting and bawling, you will be on basic. And if you want to carry off after that, you'll be down block. And if you want to carry off down like that, after that, you'll be on your travels about 300 miles. Trust me, I've experienced it on 2 occasions. Trust me. They'll send you somewhere where you won't get a visit. They sent my mate to Portland. They call it Portland Bill, don't they? It's that far away. I think it's down south somewhere. It's that far away that I've been told, and I don't know if this is true, but I think it is. The tide comes in at a certain point, right, around the prison. That's how bad it is when you go there. So you're not always guaranteed about getting a visitor there. So they send you to Portland. People won't want to know, won't want to risk it coming down there to see you. So, but you would have thought that Big Meech would have been a little bit more humbler. You know, him being ex-prisoner, ex-convict. You think he'd be a little bit more humble because he's very, very lucky with drugs charges to get a visa. I couldn't get one. I tried all sorts. Peter Fury tried all sorts as well to get a visa to go to America. I tried for Froch Ward. And Joshua just got his in a heartbeat, didn't he? Why is that? Why is that? If he's got a red flag for dealing drugs, why can he get a visa and nobody else can't? Why is that? Now there is something that they say that if you're a star or you're making a difference and all that, you can appeal it and all that. And I think they've probably gone down that route, haven't they? But he has turned his life around, and it does help if you've got an MBE and an OBE, doesn't it? I mean, the next one's a knighthood. Could you imagine if they knighted this chump here, hey, this chump, hey, well, they knight this guy here. I mean, look what Tyson Fury's done. He's been nowhere near an MBE, has he? But then again, he's probably got the Fabber to blame for that, hasn't he? Pop, pop, bang. Okie dokie then. So, what do we all think? Is Big Meech going to fight Wilder in April, like he says? There's a lot of smoke and mirrors at the moment, a lot of chess moves going on, isn't there, behind the scenes, and on about going on Fury's undercard, fighting Wilder, and blah, blah, blah. Listen, all poppycocking it. All talk, but just for the sake of it. The bottom line is this. Eddie Hearn, the 6-0 Iceman from Billy Ricky 4 by way of, a.k.a. Eddie Hills. They're on the outside looking in for the first time in a long time. Eddie's stable's got old. He's not really built for future. Who has he really got? Who has he really got that's going to rip shit up? If Dalton Smith walked down the street in London tomorrow, would anybody recognise him? Hey? No, they won't, would they? You got them sort of guys. You got Sonny Edwards around him making a lot of noise. But what is he? An 8 stoner. People don't get out of bed to watch them guys. They practice the art, don't they? They're very skillful, but they don't ice people, do they? No matter how much bad man they talk, they don't ice anybody. Sonny Edwards don't put bums on seats, does he? Do you know what I mean? If he did, Bricktop would have kept him, wouldn't he? He's Bricktop's leftovers. But the kid can fight, and in my opinion, he is pound for pound in the UK at the moment. He's top 10 pound for pound in UK. Maybe top 15 in the world. He is that good, but like I said, people don't pay to watch them kids, do they? They're undercard men, aren't they? Which is a shame, really. But it is what it is. So Anthony Joshua, aka Big Meech, you are on the outside looking in. Next stop for you, lad, Misfits. Go on, get your sent off. Pop, pop, bang. Thanks for liking and subscribing, leaving a comment. And you know your mate, aka Skins, he is a helmet, just like you. Booyaka.